A što hrvatski Amerikanac koji predaje na Fakultetu političkih znanosti misli o američkom papi? Šalje li ovakav odabir i političku poruku, što se želi, a što može postići? Ima li povijesni presedan veze s povratkom Trumpa u Bijelu kuću? Evo što je Petru Panjkoti rekao američki profesor s hrvatskom adresom.
So, as an American living here in Croatia, who just found out that his compatriot got elected as Pope, what are your feelings?
I mean, I'm excited because it makes me feel like maybe Croatia and America will be a little bit more closer, right? You know, now we have American Pope. But on the other hand, I'm like, did they do this because only God can save America now? So if we're not talking about politics, then I'm excited, and it's great, and it's neat, and you know, to me it seems like also it's sort of a transition in the church because this is the second pope that's not European, right? I'm happy that he's American. I listened to his speech. I thought it was really great.
A lot of people, myself included, maybe thought that American will never get elected Pope because America already has too much power in the world. So,
well, right. So,
what do you think about this moment? What was in the heads of cardinals to elect American?
So, exactly. This is one thing that people had talked about a long time. Like, there'll never be an American Pope because America is too powerful. So, does this mean that the United States is on the decline, and that's why we are now Pope worthy? Right, like other smaller countries, other countries that are not as powerful, or is it a message to try to get the U.S. to you know, use its influence and power in a positive way, you know, in a way that for example, the Pope Leo's speech today was all about building bridges and charity and love and these things that seem to be missing in America's, you know, recent policies. I mean, it's kind of always been missing, but especially now. So, you know, I think the big question, so yes, I'm happy, but everybody wants to know, well, why?
Yeah.
You know, we want to know, why was he chosen?
He was Pope Francis's basically second man or third man. So someone like that can maybe influence even the American president.
You know, maybe, you know,
the position of Pope, I mean.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he could maybe have an influence on the voters, you know, the Catholic population, or maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Maybe it has nothing to do with him being an American. Maybe it's the actual type of cardinal he was and the type of person he was, and that the conclave decided this, and now America's just once again getting in the way of everything, you know. I don't know.
And he was basically a person the same as Francis that took a lot of attention for the migrants and refugees and all the suffering people that current American administration is basically treating very poorly. So what do you think is going to happen here with American as Pope and American president doing the stuff he's doing with ICE and everything?
If it was, you know, if it was Biden, I think it would have an influence because Biden was a devout Catholic. Trump is just a devout Trump person, you know. So I can't say it's going to have any influence. Again, you know, J.D. Vance is Catholic, so maybe it can have an influence there. But you know, I mean, you know, look, it's not the Middle Ages. People disagree with the Pope all the time. Yeah. You know, to me, I think maybe the Americans will pay a little bit more attention because he is an American, and that can have an impact. But, you know, we're not a predominantly Catholic country, so I don't really know, you know, it's hard to know what the impact will be.
Surely he will have more influence on Americans as a pope than his predecessors, whether they are Catholics or not, right? Just from the fact that he's American. Yeah,
I would say his message, right? His role will more likely cut through the noise, you know, and Americans will be more responsive to it. But whether or not it'll change anything, I don't know. I mean, that's
their attitude towards migrants, for example.
Yeah, I don't think the Pope is, you know, going to be able to have that type of influence. You know, I mean, that's where you say, well, that's in God's hands, you know. I don't know which way it's going to go. You know, we've only had two Catholic presidents, JFK and Biden. And so will this be a positive thing to people who are not Catholic? Maybe. Or will they see it as like some attempted manipulation? You know, I don't know. We live in an age of conspiracy theories and unreason, and a reasonable pope, even if he's an American, many might see that as a threat. So,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know.